All right, let's jump right to it. Our good man, Jared Dumba, our hockey analyst, sent me the list of topics. And Jared, of all the ones you sent, I scanned them. Your last one was Connor Bedard being frustrated. I see he was pointless the other night in a 5-3 Blackhawks win over Colorado. He was pointless. What's the story on Connor Bedard being a little frustrated in the Windy City?
Well, it's so tough when you watch his interviews. It's tough to really. I mean, he's honest all the time. You can't really get that much frustration. I didn't see that, but the inside scoop that I've been seeing, been hearing is he's just frustrated, and not to points, but about losing. He wants to win, no matter where he is. Doesn't matter if it's for his first or second year in the NHL. And apparently that's apparently showing a little bit of frustration there. But it's Connor Bedard. He's gonna keep doing his thing. He'll get his points. I don't think he worries so much about that. But I think he wants to see his team, start to put some wins in the win column. When they brought in all these players that were, some extra good players like the Bertuzzis and Teravainens, I think he was expecting to maybe start throwing up a few more wins in the win column. But as we know, it's not that easy in the NHL, and it doesn't take a year. Ask Connor McDavid how long it's taken them to get to kind of perennial contenders. So he's got a little ways ahead of him. But I could see how that would get frustrating on a guy who's so used to winning.
Well, you played a lot of junior and a lot of pro. If you were his coach, what would you tell him? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, what did you think was going to happen? And number two, you better get used to it because Chicago's not going to turn it around anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would tell him is, it's not gonna come overnight. You look around at the other teams; they don't have 3 or 4 superstars or 5 superstars like a Toronto or an Edmonton. You just got to stick with it. Just keep grinding it out. Don't get discouraged. Keep doing the things you're doing. Keep leading the way you're leading, and everything will fall into place. But you just got to keep your chin up and keep going. Basically, is all you can do at this point.
Yeah, and I would not say, what did you think was going to happen? What I would say is you can only control what you can control. So play the best Connor Bedard hockey and let us do the work around you. Can you handle a few one-timers, Jared, to throw some questions at you, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Robin in Prince Albert writes in and says, do you think that the Penguins will ever do a rebuild with Sid the Kid or wait till he retires?
I think, that's a hard one. You know what? If things keep going south, more and more south, I think Sid might change his mind. But it sounds like that entire decision is up to Sid. Do you want to move on and have a chance to win the cup? Do you want to stay in the same spot? Right now, it sounds like he wants to stay in the same spot. And as long as that's his answer, there will be no rebuild. It'll be, just little pieces here and there. And, if Sid was thinking of the team, that's going to put the team back 5 years to a decade after he's gone, not being able to bring in extra pieces for guys like himself. And if Sid's saying that, Malkin's going to stick around, all the vets are going to want to stick around. They're just going to follow what Sid does. But I think the answer to that is it falls solely on the shoulders of Sidney Crosby. Whatever Sidney says is going to be what goes. And when you win cups there and you've done as much for the team and the league as he has, you kind of gotta make the decision his and respect him.
Yeah, but he also just signed a 3-year, $8.7 million per season extension. So if they're not going to rebuild as long as he's there, get used to losing, Pittsburgh. I need your take on Connor McDavid. 2 to 3 weeks he'll be out for the Oilers. Can you talk about their middling start, and now not having number 97 available?
Yeah, I see a lot of people hitting the panic button just the same way as with, Leafs fans that they always do in the beginning of the seasons. But if you look back to last year, how long did it take Edmonton to get going? I know a coaching change happened and that set them straight. But, for whatever reason, the start of the season just hasn't been Edmonton's thing. For whatever reason, Stuart Skinner seems to start a little slower. The whole team does. It's not Skinner's fault. Right now, I mean, what do you do now with Connor out? I think that you got to take that as a positive and see it as a chance for other guys to step up, get more minutes, and see who's going to step up and play better to try and maybe they can go on a little roll. We've seen that before where a star player goes out and the team goes on. So it's going to be now you're going to get to see a little bit more of the depth, and other guys are going to have a better chance to step in and show what they got.
You wanted to discuss the Ottawa Senators being last place in the Atlantic. What did you want to say about the Sens? Or sorry, fourth in the Atlantic, my bad.
With the Sens, well, just, looking at the Sens, there's a lot of people that are still kind of dumping on them, even their own fans that I see online and stuff like that, although most people that go to say anything online are to dump on people. But I think the Sens, I think they're going to surprise some people this year. Obviously, they got to try and, get ahead of the Detroits and stay ahead of those guys to try and have a look at the playoffs. But you start watching what they're doing there, all those young guys, the Kachucks, the Bathersons, those type of guys. If Pinto gets going a little more, I think they've got a good team there. I think that they're moving in the right direction. They could obviously still use another D-man or two, but you look at what they're doing there, and you look at their game last night, and they're showing some flashes. I don't think they're going to be a last place or second last place team again. When you look at what they're building and how all these young guys are kind of coming up, I know it's taken a while, but I think the Senators are going to make a good push and maybe even get in with that wild card spot this year.
It would be nice, obviously, for their sake and their fans. And believe me, I think it helps the arena discussion to have a good team. You got a new head coach there, obviously. So Travis Green, let's hope for the best for them. The Flames, best start in 52 years, and now have lost back-to-back games and not close. 5-0 in Vegas, 5-3 at home to the Jets. Where are you on the Flames?
Well, I wouldn't panic there either. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I said, well, they're going to drop off. They can't maintain this. Everybody's talking about a rebuild, but it's the Jets and the Knights. I mean, those are the two, in my opinion, the two top teams in the league right now, probably. When you look at the Flames roster, for a team that's rebuilding, it sure doesn't look like a rebuilding roster. You got Backlund, you got Kadri, you got Kuzmenko, you got Zary, who's only a second year but playing really well. Sharangovich is coming back. They got a pretty deep roster up front. And then when you look at guys like Rasmus Anderson leading the team in scoring, you got a guy like that on the back end, Mackenzie Weegar. See how the big guy Ball can play. If he breaks out, they've got some good players there. So I don't know does that rebuild just kind of go into a retool? Do they start shipping away some of the big guys, Anderson and these guys, and seeing how much they can get for them? I don't know. When you look at that roster, it sure looks like a pretty decent roster to me.
A quick one. Golden Knights at Kings tonight. Who wins, do you think? That should be a doozy.
I'm gonna pick the Kings. I'm gonna say the Kings are gonna win 4-2 with an empty netter. Kopitar will have a couple of goals, as usual, in a big game. But I don't know. I'm a Kings fan, so of course I'm going to say that. We're looking at the Knights this year. A lot of people were picking the Knights to drop off this year because they lost this guy and they lost that guy. The Knights, as they do every year, they find guys that step up. Obviously, McCrimmon knows his stuff, knows what he's doing there, and once again, they're on top of the division. So it'll be a tough one for the Kings, but I got to go with my Kings 4-2 with an empty netter, Rowdy.
Like you say, the Leafs are your regular season team. The Kings are your playoff team. We all got to have those. Good job, Jared. It goes fast. Keep on trucking, my friend.
Thanks for having me, brother. You have a great rest of your day.
You too.